Hey, what's up? It's Monday night and just doing some sorting in my card room, and you can't quite see the table. It's a little below. Haven't worked out the angles yet, but I did clean up here in the card room and got the table cleaned off. Did some Cub sorting yesterday, and looking to get caught up on some sorting. Set up quite a few trades over the weekend, so part of what I'm doing tonight is sorting a few team lots, a few cards from teams. I also have a trade in the works for a team set or a set collector looking for tops various years, going back to 1980. So, gonna be pulling some cards tonight for him and some teams I'm short on. I've got some trades in the works for Yankees. Always running low on Yankees and Red Sox, so I'll be pulling those. I've got a trader that's looking for Angels, so I'm going to be pulling those just in case I don't have enough sorted already. And Atlanta Braves is another team that I'm always moving some cards for as far as team traders go. And I've got a couple of Royals team collectors that are always looking for cards too. So those are some of the teams that I'll be pulling, and um, Oakland A's. I've come across a bunch of Oakland A's collectors lately that are looking for trades. So gonna be moving some of those out of these boxes as well. And this actually, this idea for my sorting of these boxes was not to catch up on the team sorting, but as far as getting boxes for my Cubs collection. I was doing some sorting yesterday of my Cubs as far as player collectors, or as far as alphabetically by player goes, and was running low on boxes. I used my sorting tray, which if you have one of those BCW sorting trays, um, some of the rows down toward the bottom don't hold too many cards, so I was getting behind, and I think the S's I needed to find a box for, so I wanted monster boxes just so I didn't have to keep refilling smaller boxes. So instead of putting in an order for another case of monster boxes, I decided that I have plenty, as you can see behind me, and I have a closet that way that is completely filled. It's 15 feet in length, about 6 feet wide, and monster boxes are stacked from front to back, about 8 feet tall, a couple feet taller than I am. So um, I've got plenty of monster boxes. The case was okay. I've got to find spots for these junk era cards that I need to get rid of. So I'm just gonna cherry pick some of the teams that I have collectors for, and any players that I know have collectors like Tim Wallach or um, J.M. Wiseau. I think Matt up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's a Mark Gubiska collector, so I've been pulling Gubiskas for him. A couple other guys that I'm working trades for are looking for like Oral Hershiser, um, Manny Lee, some random junk era players like that. So looking for those guys as well. Um, but yeah, just wanted to free up some monster boxes for my Cubs collection. And you may ask, well, what are you going to do with the cards that you're pulling? Pat Borders is another guy that I'm pulling. What are you going to do with the cards that are not being sorted by team and that are being emptied for the Cubs? Those I'm putting in flat rate boxes. I'll be selling off. It's going to be junk era, um, 25 bucks. There's a Tim Wallach. And it's just going to be a random mishmash of cards, mostly junk era. So if you're into that, if not, I'm just going to keep them on the side, and when I run out of teams that I don't typically sort, I'll just dig them out of the closet and start going through and pulling some of the teams that aren't normally pulled. I saw a question about Yankees or Red Sox. So that game is starting, and I am pulling for the Yankees. Um, I know I posted the question on my Twitter feed this afternoon. Who do you want in the American League Championship Series against the Houston Astros as they swept today? And a lot of people said neither. That unfortunately that can't be an option. But I'm actually pulling for the New York Yankees because I like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. They're a fun team to watch. They're young. It's not like the Yankees of old where the payroll was outrageous. The payroll's still pretty high. They are the Yankees. It's a big market, but it's not. They're not buying championships. I mean, they've built this up through trade and through the farm system. So it's pretty cool. I like the Yankees, and I hope they win tonight. And Yankees Astros um, would be a good series if that's what happens. But obviously the Red Sox are really really good. So we'll see. It looks like the Dodgers are going to win. I had that game on, and the Dodgers were up like 6-2, but I think the Braves were making a rally. But I didn't see the score. I switched it over to Monday Night Raw, and I've just kind of got it in the background. Yeah, Big Shep, my George Brett's. You're my guy for George Brett. In fact, I had the Kirby Puckett player that the collection that I posted on Twitter over the weekend. He has 112,000 Kirby Puckett cards. His name's Eric Smith, and he's actually the Kirby Puckett player or player collector. Eric Smith is a former minor league baseball player. He was an eighth round pick for the Astros, and he lives in Kansas now. And he is the big Kirby Puckett collector. So I'm sending him 631 Kirby Puckets that I had, and he's sending me 631. Actually, he filled an 800 count box. He said of Ryan Sandberg. So picking up several hundred Ryan Sandbergs for those Kirby Puckets. And he asked me because he has a bunch more Sandbergs. Big Shep. He asked me if I had any George Brett or Bo Jackson cards because obviously he's right outside of Kansas City, and I said nope. I've got a couple Royals guys that they get my George Brett and my Bo Jacksons. So Big Shep gets those, and Matt up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Who, by the way, Matt, I don't know if he's on here, but this is a solid gold premium lager from Founders, which is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So one of our Royals team collectors lives up in Grand Rapids. Yeah, the Cubs, man, that was tough. But I was talking with I live in Madison, Wisconsin, so a lot of my coworkers and people and friends up here are Milwaukee Brewers fans. So obviously, there's a lot of trash talking going on, especially toward the end of the season. And I said the Cubs lost. They flat out got beat 2 games in a row when it meant the most against the Rockies and against the Brewers. And I don't feel bad. In fact, I probably would have been felt worse if the Cubs went to the NLDS and either got swept in the division series or lost in the division series. Either way, so I'm upset, but they got outplayed, and that's the bottom line. So I'm pulling some 89 tops here. I've got a monster box. I got to get the camera angle down, but I pull when I pick up collections that you see behind me. I'll pick up hundreds of monster boxes over the course of a year, and a lot of it's junk Kara, like 89 tops. So I usually cherry pick the star players. Big Shep gets my George Brett. But here, Bobby Bonilla, for some reason, is a guy that I've always pulled. Daryl Strawberry. There's Oral Hershiser. I've got a guy looking for him. So I have hundreds and hundreds of Daryl Strawberries. I have hundreds and hundreds of Bobby Bonilla. So if you know anybody that is looking for those guys, I have many available. And in fact, most junk era superstars I have. One of my friends is getting my Griffies. Um, I sold a bunch of Cal Ripkins, so I'm low on him. Kirby Puckett, I just sent off all of those. Um, George Brett and Bo Jackson are accounted for. So anybody else than that, Nolan Ryan, I've got tons and tons of Nolan Ryan cards. Jose Canseco. In fact, I started a binder because Jose Canseco's the guy that um, makes me sentiment. He's the sentimental baseball card guy for me. Yeah, Nolan Ryan. Got a bunch. Got hundreds. Just show me your Cubs. Um, Bo Jackson and Jose Canseco were the two guys from that era that, it takes you back to opening baseball cards as a kid. I'm 36, so 89, which I'm going through right now. It was like the first set that I was using allowance, walking up to the grocery store. I grew up in a town of 900 people. So the grocery store had the packs of tops, and I could go up there, buy a 50-cent pack of baseball cards, and put together a set. So 89 was kind of the coming of age year for me, and obviously Jose Canseco was just so huge in the hobby world at that time. So he takes me back. Am I collecting duplicates? Absolutely. In fact, when I was cleaning my card room last week, which if you're just joining, this is part of the card room in the background. I discovered a bunch of cards that I'm glad I found when I did. But I uncovered a stack of about 120 Ryan Sandberg 1987 Topps cards. I bought a collection off Craigslist several years ago, maybe 3, 4 years ago, and the collector had monster boxes filled with 87 top stars, like in lots, like investor lots, basically. And yeah, so I had a 125 count lot of Sandberg that I came across. So yeah, definitely collecting duplicates and multiples and hundreds if you have them. But I found some great cards. I found a Mookie Betts Topps Update rookie that I threw on eBay for $30. Buy it now, and it sold within like 12 hours. I found a few Christian Yelich relics, one from Ginter this year, one from Topps. I found an Aaron Jones from the Packers autograph from Panini, and I'm not a football collector, but I have a friend who lives up in Minnesota, Minneapolis area, and he is a huge football guy, mainly memorabilia like jerseys and stuff, but he does football cards on every once in a while. So he came down to visit, and we went to the two local shops, and they didn't really have much that I was looking for, that he was looking for, because we wanted to come down to the basement, just open up some packs, drink a few beers, and just kind of have some fun. And so the shops didn't really have anything we were looking for. So we went to Target, kind of the last ditch effort. Target's just a mile down the road, and they had, and I can't remember what, I think it was Don Russ had just come out. This was in the spring, and I wanted Don Russ, but I was, buying the new products, and I wanted to just dabble and buy a few blasters of Don Russ. And it was in the distributor's box. Sometimes the boxes of cards go to the Targets before the distributor actually arrives. And so I knew the XL boxes were there. They were at the checkout counter, and I've read on like the blowout forums that people have asked Target managers if they can open them, and most of them say that yeah, go ahead. And I asked like two different people, and both of them said no, the distributor has to open that. And They lost a sale because I probably would have bought 4 or 5 blasters of Donruss baseball. But my friend bought a couple boxes of football. I'm like, I'm not gonna go empty-handed, so I did buy a box of football, and I pulled an Aaron Jones rookie auto, and it sold for $15. So that's not bad. It was probably a $20 box, I think. So that was one of the cards. Short story long. That was one of the cards that I found in my cleanup last week. So it paid off, and I found a couple Yelich rookie cards. So it was definitely worth getting things organized because I just feel better with my sorting. And when people reach out and want to trade, especially for like teams that I may be running low on, I'm always low on Yankees, and it seems like Braves too, that I always feel behind because nothing's organized, and I don't have everything pulled. So it feels good to actually have kind of my table back, so I can do this if I want to get my Cubs sorted, which I need to badly. Because basically, what I'm doing right now with the Cubs is just got an alert. The Dodgers did win, so Dodgers and Brewers in the NLCS. Which will probably bring on some good trash talk. The company I work for is based in La Cañada, California, which is basically Pasadena. And one of our executives, the president of the company, diehard Dodger fans. In fact, one of our executives, the president of our company, played minor league baseball for the Dodgers back in the early 90s, and he was a backup to Mike Piazza in the Dodgers minor leagues. So they are big Dodger fans. We're in Wisconsin, so mostly filled with Brewers fans. So at work, it'll be some fun talking back and forth. It looks like I have two. That's my Red Sox pile. Looks like I started putting Red Sox in the Brave pile. Okay, so Braves up here. Looks like there's 3 people on here. Sorry that I'm boring you to death and just randomly talking. I'm a card nerd, so I really enjoy this type of thing. About the cards, Big Shep was on here earlier. Has a podcast on Wednesday nights about the cards, and him and Ben and I'm drawing a blank. Is it Junkwax Twins? Can't think of his Twitter handle, but they do a podcast on Wednesday nights on YouTube, and Wednesday's my trivia night. Guys get together and we play trivia at a sports bar here. So I don't get to catch it live, but I always listen to it on Thursday. Great stuff, and the banter back and forth is excellent. So it's really enjoyable, and sometimes I'll nerd out and just watch box breaks, not even get involved in them, but I just like talking the hobby. So that's kind of what gave me the idea to, hey, I'm going to sort some cards. And people love the pictures of cards. It doesn't matter what you post a picture of, man. People love pictures of baseball cards. So I figured, let's just do a video. I'm here anyway. I'm sorting cards. So Roger Clemens. So throw up some video and do some sorting and just kind of ramble. I don't know how long my phone battery will last. My wife is picking up my mother-in-law from the airport after a week and a half in Ireland, which seems like a pretty long time to spend in Ireland. I would, I've never been, but from what I've heard, there's not much there, and A week and a half to 2 weeks would be a long time. Looks like this pile, I was pulling a lot of 89 tops. And it looks like I'm getting kind of a hodgepodge here. Some 89 upper deck, 91 upper deck. Here's some Pacific from 93. So right now, oh, there's a Cub, Rick Rona. I can add that to the tally. There's a few that I've missed. Most of these boxes have been cherry picked. Looks like I am pulling a few random Strawberry. There was a Clemens, a Bobby Bonilla, Doc Gooden. Those are guys that I typically pull. But I missed those, and I was sorting a box yesterday, and I found like 3 Cubs. So they're still out there. I quit my Sportslots store. I still have the inventory, but it's just on vacation, and I think I'm going to just kind of discontinue it, keep it up, because it takes a long time to put that inventory up. So I will leave it, but I feel better not having it just because it's time consuming and it's another thing. With eBay, I post a lot on eBay, and I'm filling a lot of eBay orders. But with Sportslots, it's just pulling the cards, and it's tedious, especially when you're pulling, 4 cards from 4 different sets, and you're making 72 cents before fees. So it was one of those that I'd considered it, but I do a lot of new product box and case buys where I picked up a case of Heritage Miners. I bought a ton of Archives retail, and the base, if you get it up right away, it sells quickly. And the last couple years, I've made maybe 30% of my case spend on selling base and inserts, within the first 2 weeks of product release. So in that regard, it's going to take a toll on what I make on any cases that I buy. But now I have a lot more inventory of the new stuff that I can go back through, and maybe a guy gets hot like Christian Yelich, and maybe I'll go and pull 20 cards of Yelich, and I can throw that on eBay, and I won't miss on last year Rhys Hoskins. I had a bunch of Bowman. Was it Bowman? One of Rhys Hoskins' rookie cards, and I didn't know how hot they were, and they were selling for like $3 a pop on eBay, and I sold all 6 of them or 8 of them for 18 cents each, and you got to fulfill that order, and it's like, well, shoot, you're losing a lot of money where I could have made $25 on eBay, and I made a couple. So that's, the prospectors, I follow the hobby and I follow the prospects, but I'm not as in tune as a lot of prospectors are. So I'm a little slow on the uptake on those things. So in that regard, maybe I'm not making as much, leaving a lot of base out there, but I'm not missing out on some hot prospects or guys getting hot like Yelich or somebody like that. But if you have any questions on Sportslots, let me know. Shoot me you can ask in this chat room if you're watching live, or drop me a line, drop me an email. The email's on 1millioncubs.net. If you're on Twitter, just shoot me a DM, and I'm always happy to give advice on the hobby, especially when it's Sportslots, because I do think that it's a great tool for both buyers and sellers in the hobby. I use it a lot. I've made a couple of 50 card purchases in the last few weeks. buying Javier Baez cards. So it's really cool. There's a lot that I would change. It's a very antiquated site, and I think there could be more marketing for it, because there's a lot of people that are in the hobby that have no idea what Sportlots is, and especially when it comes to like team collectors and set builders that I'll run across, and they have no idea what Sportlots is, and it's shocking to me that here's another Cub. It's Glen Allen Hill. It's two Cubs in this box, in what I thought was an already sorted box. Looks like some newer cards in here. Some 2002 Fleer, 2002 Donruss, 2009 Topps, and I'm not sure if that's on David's list. 2008 and 2010, so no. Another Cub. It's Jose A. Reyes, the catcher. It's funny because they were both Jose Reyes's had cards out at the same time, and the Jose Reyes you know of was the top of his game at that time. So this was like what, 2007. Jose A. Reyes, Cubs catcher, played in 4 games in 06. So 3 Cubs, and here's some 13 Topps, and so David is looking for 13. So nice to get rid of some Topps base. He doesn't want dupes, so sorting them out. And there we go. You want some archives, so there's an archive. Another Conquers, Callister. So duplicate Red Sox. Second one. Yankees. Trevor Cahill. Oh man, he is one funny dude. He was a celebrity bartender at the Cubs convention a few years ago, and he was having a great time. We started chanting bartender MVP for Trevor Cahill, and he signed a baseball for me that said bartender MVP 2016 or 2015, whatever year it was. He was fun. That would have been Schwarber's rookie year. So, yeah, I think it was 2016. It was the year, it would have been January of 16. So before World Series. Because Schwarber came up in 2015. Todd Van Poppel. Remember him? That's a throwback. Todd Van Poppel's just as takes me back just as much as Jose Canseco and Bo Jackson. Throw him in with Kevin Moss. Kevin Moss, man, his cards were so hot. 90 Fleer, that was Carlton Fisk. He's another one that I've been pulling. Kevin Moss was... He was the first. 90 Fleer was... 89 Topps was a set that I built as a kid. But I remember 90 Fleer, and I don't know why 90 Fleer sticks out, but that seemed to have Tuffy Rhodes. It's another Cub. I don't know what it was about that 90 Fleer, but maybe I bought more of it. Maybe my allowance went up and I was able to buy more packs, but I just remember having just a ton of 90 Fleer. Card Barrel. Just Commons. Oh, yeah, I remember Just Commons. No, I have not. I'll have to check them out. Just Commons. Yeah, I forgot all about them. Yeah, they were big. Card Barrel. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. And I'm not sure. And that's the one thing, I was talking to a guy Sunday that I bought a big collection from a couple years ago, and um, I stopped by. He had some Cub stuff, but not really anything I was looking for. And um, we got to talking about it, and he was asking about Sportlots because he does COMC, and I've never done check out my cards. I don't like the upfront fees. That's why I like Sportlots, and I guess it's some people like Sportlots because of that. Some people hate Sportlots because of the fees look scary, but really, in all honesty, you're selling commons for 18 cents a piece. Um, so really, the fees kind of make them sell, and you just charge the right amount of shipping where you're not overcharging, but there's a little juice in there for you. Um, so that's my one. I don't like sending the cards off, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because that's the reason I stopped doing sport lots, was because I don't have time to fill the multiple orders and pulling cards, which that's what check out my cards takes that out of the equation. So at this point, I don't think there's an alternative for what I'm looking to do. I think I'm just going to basically leave my base up for trade, put together some lots, and just kind of hang on to them, and do all my business on eBay. It's nice for trades though, because now I can go back and I don't have to withhold um, my 2018 Heritage, um, because that was a tough thing. When Heritage would come out, I would anybody that had a want list for Heritage. I'd say, give me 2 weeks. Let the Sport Lots thing run its course for my customer base, because I would move right off the bat. Um, so many cards after release date, and usually 2 weeks was kind of the sweet spot, and then it really trickled after that. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks was my comfort zone before trading, and now it's like I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about, okay, I'm gonna make this trade, and I've got to pull these from my store, and it gets to be too much as far as controlling the inventory, and that's another thing that with Sportlights I don't really care for, is it's not easy to manage the inventory. Because you're dealing with volume. It's probably easier than eBay, but with eBay, you're not handling. I had 65,000 cards in my Sportlots inventory, which actually was down from. Um, I had stopped my store before I moved to this current location, and just due to the move, I just completely took my store down, and I had 140, 150,000 cards in my inventory, and a lot of it was 80 tops, 81 tops, 82 tops, 83 down. A lot of those early 80s stuff. I didn't list any junk era just because there's 1,000 cards each on Sport Lots, um, and my stuff's not sorted, so to sort that is just not worth it. I think one set that I did spend some time sorting, thinking that, yeah, I may move a few cards here and there, was like 80 tops or 81 tops. An early 80s set that's kind of pre-junk era. That's kind of up for debate when actually each person thinks it's a different time. Um, but, I think 81's pre-junk era. And I think in the 2 years that I restarted my store after spending, a few hours sorting 1981 tops, I think I made one sale from the set. So that was an eye opener. It's like, okay, 2 years, 18 cents, gross, and it probably took me 3 hours of work. That was a big time suck. So definitely has its pluses and minuses, and I would recommend it if you're looking to move base, especially if you get product upon release or within a couple days of release. Um, Definitely do it. But it is a time suck, and the if you're not going to list a lot of new stuff, you basically have to list new product, because even last year's product or 2 years ago, it just doesn't move unless you have 60,000 cards from the last 10 years where people can go to your store, and they can pick from different sets. So yeah, I would definitely recommend if you're just looking to move junk wax, you're not going to do it. There's just not a market for that. But if you jump out right away with new product, you can definitely make some good money um, moving new stuff. And when I say make good money, the margins are small. It's baseball cards. Um, Not many people are in this to make money. I love it. It's a hobby. Um, Obviously, I try to recoup my cost, but it is a hobby. So I basically know when I'm buying boxes that there's a chance that I make my money back. There's a chance that I lose money. There's a chance that I pull a great card that's, going to make me a little bit of money. There's a shilling. Yeah, I would not recommend quitting your day job and trying to sell cards full time. And a Barry Larkin. Somebody looking for Barry Larkin this weekend too. Oh man, I hate it when cards stick together. So this is just the second row. Sorting takes a long time. There's Paul Molitor. This is one of those reprints. This is my big pet peeve with some of the new products today. This is Paul Molitor. It looks like a 1986 Topps card, but it's a 2010 Topps reprint. I hate that they either do a different picture on the 86 design or stamp it like the buybacks. But I hate just even though it's glossy. I actually had an eBay transaction. I had a Wade Boggs lot, okay? And I basically just spread out the cards. And I even advertised I had like 5 or 6 1984 Topps, which was Boggs' second year card. Nowhere in the description, nowhere in the title did it say 83 or rookie or anything, but there were a couple of those cards of Wade Boggs reprint, or not even reprints, because it's just a glossy copy. And the guy who bought it sold for like $1.25 plus shipping. And it was 150 cards or something. And the guy received the cards and messaged me saying that basically I ripped him off because I didn't say it was a reprint. And there was 150 cards I splayed out on the floor. In no way were the 83 reprints. They were not pictured on their own. They were in the pile, just splayed out with all the rest of the cards. Nowhere in there did I say a rookie card was in the lot. I did not say anything about 1983. And this guy, he said it was deception, and he got blocked. It's like, come on. Going to row number 3 here. Mark's got a great question on Sportlots. PC team set um, or set collectors. It's a lot. It's all of the above. I think for the most part, um, a majority of my transactions were set builders. Um, a lot of what I moved was new product. Um, 2018 Heritage Miners. People buying the base cards and the inserts. So mostly set builders. In fact, I didn't have too many team collectors making orders. I had a few customers that were um, new team set collectors, so they would be one or two were pirates. Um, I had a couple pirate collectors that they would buy my new, if I listed Heritage Miners, they would buy all of my pirates Heritage Miners, one of each. Player collectors, I tried to. Big Shep won't like this, but when I got on, I had a ton of George Brett cards, and I listed all of the George Brett cards, thinking, okay, maybe they're gonna buy them for 18 cents, and I did that because there was a guy who was buying up George Brett's and paying a premium on Sportlots. But most of the George Brett cards just weren't selling. So mostly set collectors. So I think I'm gonna wrap this up. My phone is at 10%, going on 45 minutes. So I'm gonna have to wrap things up here, and I put my Red Sox in the Braves pile again. So that's gonna do it for tonight. I'm gonna try to find a better angle because you can't really see unless I show you the pictures. So I'll work on that and finish up here. And a brick of Upper Deck. I hate that. From what's that, 95 Upper Deck? That might have to go in the trash. Ugh. All right, so that's that. Got through 2.5 rows. Just pulling cards, and I found 4 Cubs. Tuffy Rhodes, Jose A. Reyes, the catcher, Glenn Allen Hill, and Rick Rona, 90 Donruss. So 4 more Cubs added to the collection that were stuffed away in a box in the card room. So, hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting. We'll have to do this again. I did mention yesterday I thought about getting some Topps Gold Label, which releases this week. Did a little research on the product, and although I do like it and it's kind of a low price point, not really going to pick up any Gold Label. Target does have a coupon, $25 off a $100 purchase. So I may stop by Target, take advantage of that, buy some blasters. I don't know. Have some trades to finish up and some more sorting to do. So thanks for tuning in on this Monday night.